All right, for this one, we're gonna make our own rub, just like a brisket. Got about a tablespoon and a half of 16 mesh black pepper, tablespoon of kosher salt, and a half a tablespoon of granulated garlic. Get all that mixed up. So we picked this pork belly up at our local grocery store. Always get asked how much stuff was. This one was $3.79 a pound, which wasn't bad at the time. So we're just gonna take a paper towel, get it patted dry. All right, now that we got it patted dry, we're gonna use mustard as a binder, just your regular old yellow mustard, or you can use a spicy mustard. You're not gonna taste the mustard, but it really does help hold that rub on really well. You don't want a ton of it on there, you just want a good coating all the way around. Don't forget those sides. All right, then we're just gonna take our rub and put it on there liberally. Just want an even coat throughout here. Pat that in. Of course, we don't want to forget those sides. All right, now that we got the rub on, we'll let it sit here, let it sweat for a few minutes, get that pit up to temp. We are cooking at 275 degrees today on this thing. So we'll get that Yoder fired up, bring you guys right back. See you then. You're gonna have to excuse the background noise. Of course, it's Texas rain right when you want to get going on these smokers. We're running at 275 degrees on this YS640 Yoder smoker. We're gonna cook it fat side up on the top rack. That way when the heat comes up, the heat will come back down on that fat and we'll be in good shape. So we're gonna go on the top rack, get that on there. Shape it the way we want it, because once it starts, it's gonna be done. Get that shaped up, and it's ready to go. So we're gonna roll at 275 degrees. We're gonna leave it on here for about an hour and a half or so, let that bark start to set, and then we'll come out here and see if it needs to be spritzed or not. So about an hour and a half, 2 hours, we'll bring you guys back. See you then. All right, we've been rolling along 275 for about 2 hours and 15 minutes. Let's look in on this pork belly and see how it's doing. Like I said, we've been rolling about 275 for about 2 hours and 15 minutes. Oh yeah, it's looking good. Let me bring you in here and let you look at it. Bark's starting to set on it. Starting to dry out, still a little moist back there. So we'll put it back to bed, check on it in about an hour or so, see if it's dried out. If it's dried out, we will spritz it. If it doesn't ever dry out, then we won't spritz it. But we'll put it to bed, bring you back about another hour and a half, then we'll start probing and see where we're at. All right, we've been rolling along about 4.5 hours. Let's get in here and see what it looks like. Oh yeah, it's darkening up. That fat cap's staying very moist, so we're good there. It's looking good. All right, I figured about an hour and a half, we'll start probing it, see if it starts getting tender. The darkness is getting about where we want it to. We'll put this down, we'll bring you guys back in 45 minutes to an hour, and we'll get it wrapped up. All right, this pork belly's been on here about 5 hours and 15 minutes. Let's look in and see how it's doing. All right, we've been running at 275 degrees for about 5 hours and 15 minutes. Haven't had to spritz, it had enough fat that's staying wet. Internal temps right around 203 degrees. So we thought we were gonna have to wrap it to get it come around, but we did not have to wrap it. So we're gonna get this thing pulled off and then we'll bring you guys in for the slice. I'll bring you in close, let you look, see what it looks like. Bark turned out real well. Yeah, it looks really good. Can't wait to taste this thing. All right, we'll get it pulled off and let it rest for about an hour or so, and then we'll bring you guys back for a taste test. See you then. All right, this pork belly is done, and man, does it look good. Let me bring you in here to look at it. Got a good bark on it. Oh, it looks good. All right, let's cut it. All right, let's cut into this thing. See how we did here. Let's just go right down the middle. Look at that juicy thing right there. Oh my goodness. Look at it. Let's get a taste of this thing. Look at that. Oh my goodness, that's gonna be so good. Let's get a bite of that. Got that bark on it. Let's give it a taste. Oh my God. I'd like to explain to you, but there's really nothing like it. If you haven't cooked one like this, you gotta give it a shot. I tell you, it's really simple. Takes a little bit of time. Not as long as a brisket does, but that is so rich. So the thing about pork belly is you can't eat a whole heck of a lot of it. I'm gonna give it a shot here, but I'm gonna cool it down and then slice it up, and then we'll use it for breakfast in the morning and be like an uncured bacon. Tell you what, can't beat it. See you guys on the next cook.